Okay, remember, they're changing my voice. If anyone thinks that I've been too harsh and that, you know, if the right thing to do on a fluke or something is that I should apologize, then I apologize. If that is what God would have me do. Okay, and I am sorry if you think that I'm too harsh, because it's not a good sign if you think I'm being too harsh. So, when you come into the ideas, the principles, because, they're hacking my brain, they're fueling me, so I don't feel truly like I'm in the spirit as much as I would, but I do feel that I'm in the spirit and that I feel that they're interfering to create some kind of artificial feelings, okay, because of the fumes and whatever technologies are being used here in concert with the fumes. But I know that I'm doing the right thing. I know these things are serious. I know 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. I know 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 = 4. Okay? And I'm capable of doing the logic and the math, right? Logical and mathematical intelligence. And it reinforces the proofs I see in people's reactions. They react the way you would expect them to react if someone was right about everything in this world where people are in denial and are wicked. Everything lines up a certain way that I know for sure that I'm right about. That I'm right to do it this way. Okay. Hosea 8. Israel to reap the whirlwind. Put the trumpet to your lips. An eagle is over the house of the Lord, because the people have broken my covenant and rebelled against my law. Israel cries out to me, our God, we acknowledge you. But Israel has rejected what is good, an enemy will pursue him. They set up kings without my consent. They choose princes without my approval. With their silver and gold, they make idols for themselves to their own destruction. So they're making these idols. It's like, whoa, you see me trying to reason with them. Okay, it's part of why I know that making many videos is right. Because God knows that I made thousands of videos trying to reason with these people, calling for people to rally, calling for them to come together, make a moral committee so we can get the message out and do the best we can possibly do to serve God and do God. That God knows that my heart is pointing to Him, that my heart is in the right place, that I'm doing the right thing, and other people are in rebellion. They're setting up idols for themselves, right? Entertainers, pagan idols, their kings, their leaders. Maybe it's the head of their fathers and mothers. Maybe it's their boyfriends. They're following people they shouldn't be following. They're idolizing them. They're impressed by them. They're not doing the right thing. When I say impressed by them, again, it's within boundaries. Do they think they can fly around in the air? No. Do they think they're the top martial artists? No. Do they think that, that they're the closest to God? No. Okay? They'd have to be crazy as hell to think that. So these people are not actually looking good to anyone. They're being patronized. People are choosing the lesser of evils and stuff like that and try not to think about things. You see people say things like, they say, I try not to think about that, right? People who try not to think about things are not impressed by people who they have to try not to think about things in order to be impressed by. Okay? And there's all kinds of proof of that, and the logic is sound. Samaria, throw out your calf idol. My anger burns against them. How long will they be incapable of purity? They are from Israel. This calf a metal worker has made it. It is not God. It will be broken to pieces, that calf of Samaria. They sow the wind and reap the whirlwind. The stalk has no head. It will produce no flour. Were to yield grain, foreigners would swallow it up. So basically what it's saying is they're following idols, and they're sowing a marshaling force that's marshaling them to hell, which one way or another, God is going to marshal things. So they become part of a wicked spirit that marshals people to hell. So it's the wind without the Spirit of God. And the whirlwind, like it says in Jeremiah, is swirling down on the heads of the wicked, on the beings of the wicked, the essence of the wicked. Okay, so they have no head. They have no sense. They have no true leader. They have no living leader. Israel is, foreigners would swallow it up. Okay, were to yield grain. So if they were to yield grain, the foreigners who were also in rebellion would swallow it up. Israel is swallowed up. Now she is among the nations like something no one wants. For they have gone up to Assyria like a wild donkey wandering alone. Ephraim has sold herself to lovers, right? It says in, I believe it's Jeremiah, where she's a wild donkey who's prostituting herself. And this is so it's reinforcing the Jeremiah scriptures and vice versa. Although they have sold themselves among the nations, I will now gather them together. They will begin to waste away under the oppression of the mighty king. So they're going to be oppressed by the idea of the king of Assyria, whether it's the king of, the king of England, or it's with the president of America, or any powerful nation. So it's something that's going to be a nation that has worldly power, that's relying on their worldly strength, that is oppressing them. Though Ephraim built many altars for sin offerings, those have become altars for sinning, right? So their churches, their places by their bed where they pray, they're actually places of sin, because the kindest acts of the wicked are cruel, as it says in Proverbs. I wrote for them the many things of my law, but they regarded them as something foreign. Okay, they didn't breed and live and cultivate a morality for it to come naturally, so it's like foreign to them. They're like, what's that, right? Though they offer sacrifices as gifts to me, their sins they will return. Oh, excuse me. Though they offer sacrifices as gifts to me, and though they eat the meat, the Lord is not pleased with them. Now he remembers their wickedness and punishes their sins. They will return to Egypt again. When it says to return to Egypt, I can't stress this enough, because it's one of the most misunderstood things in the Bible. It's not talking about the good Pharaoh who elevated Joseph and acknowledged him and gave him his rightful place. That's what made him, that distinguished him. He believed Joseph, okay, because Joseph had proven it, but one way or another he believed him, and it's credited to him as righteousness, just like when Abraham believed God and was willing to sacrifice Isaac, and it was credited to him as righteousness, to the point where it's pointed out in the New Testament as well. Israel has forgotten their maker and built palaces. Judah has fortified many towns, but I will send fire on their cities that will consume their fortresses. Again, when they say they're consuming their fortresses, right? In the sense of a divine military is important. Obviously, if you're a pirate or you're a corrupt nation, your military is not important to God. They're doing the wrong thing, right? Duh. But if you were doing the right thing, it's important. So when it says they're going to destroy their cities, the idea of their city being divine is no longer divine, so it's destroyed. It's just a wasteland. He talks about deserts and wasteland and swampland, right? And their fortresses, if they had martial arts centers, if they had religious centers, they were actually doing the right thing, they'd be fortresses of God. But now they're just destroyed fortresses of sinners. That's why in a few verses back, it says that Ephraim built many altars for sin offerings. Those have become altars for sinning. Okay? So they're rotting more and more until they're totally destroyed.